Uh-oh. Okay, don't panic. Remember what the instructor said.
If you ever get into trouble, all you need to do is...
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Stupid sexy fucker.
Hey gang, how's it hanging? It's another day in paradise for your old pal Mad Matt, especially when I get to showcase a really cool deck like the one I have for you today, which is Furhire Spright. I know, breaking news, another deck you can shove the Spright engine into, stop the presses and all that. This one at least does some things different than a lot of standard Spright builds, which you know I'll go over in depth, but also the two archetypes end up working together great. They have some interesting lines of play, and they have some pretty solid end boards, so I am happy to be showcasing this one off for you today. If you're not familiar with the Furhire archetype, they're a deck of anthropomorphic fantasy-style mercenaries. If you want to make some furry jokes, I'll give you a second to get them out of your system. Alright, feel better? Good. Anyway, the Furhires have a couple of somewhat unique gimmicks. First up is the weirdest card text you'll ever read. But for uniqueness, mechanics side-wise, the lower level Furhires all have an effect where they can special summon a different named Furhire from hand. And also when a Furhire monster is special summoned, it'll trigger some effect, like a search, a pop, special summon, or an add back to hand. You know, the usual business. Then the higher level Furhire monsters typically have some sort of effect on special summon, and then they usually have some sort of interruption ability. We're only on the one, but there are some other ones that exist in the archetype. Those gimmicks are kind of cool, but they were never really anything to write home about, and the deck never really saw much high level success. Eventually they did receive some legacy support that really improved the deck, namely the level 2 monster Rex Freight Furhire, and the level 2 Link monster Donner Dagger Furhire. These two cards both helped fix and resolve some of the major problems with the deck, and it allowed the deck to more consistently gain access to and take advantage of the actual powerful pieces of the deck. So why add Spright into the mix? Well, like I said, Rex and Donner are both a level 2 and Link 2 monster respectively. Need I say more? However, Spright on its own does add a great deal of consistency to basically any deck you can shove it into, being able to find a deck's main level 2 monster via Gigantic Spright. They also add solid extension and board building thanks to Blue, Jet, Starter, and then also Elf. And of course the Sprites also provide a deck access to more interruption via Red Carrot and also Smashers. And all that for the low cost of 11 main deck slots and 2 to 4 extra deck slots. Before we really get into it, so we are on 42 cards for this build, and I don't think it's too big a deal to go over 40 with this deck. Number one, everything is pretty searchable on the Furhire side, thanks to Rex and Beat, as well as Rookie. But it's also everything's pretty searchable on the Spright side, you know, obviously thanks to Blue, Jet, and Starter. We also have a lot of card draw thanks to Rafal, and of course the level 3 Link monster Fulgo, Justice for Hire. So basically what I'm saying is you won't have too hard a time finding the cards you need. Next up, we'll get into the card by card portion. I'm mostly just going to go over the Furhire cards because at this point you're probably pretty familiar and sick of the Spright cards, along with, you know, all the other non-engine just staple cards I'm running in the deck. The ratios for all those are pretty standard. Feel free to play around with, like, I don't know, some of the hand trap lineup and non-engine lineup. There is some flexibility there. But for the card by card for the Furhires, we're on 3 Rex Furhire. On summon, he searches any Furhire spell or trap also on the grave as a quick effect while you control a Furhire monster. You can banish Rex and then either add a Furhire card or special summon a Furhire monster onto the field. Fantastic +1 on summon, and then further pluses you by being able to revive from grave. Just a fantastic play starter and extender, especially once you see the spells we can search. So basically we want to see Rex as often as possible, so much so that we're on a triple fossil dig to take advantage of Rex's dinosaur typing. The 2 cards we have to search with Rex are Mayhem Furhire, which is just your standard in-archetype quick play monster born, useful for extension or for certain combo lines that we do, and then also we're on the one of Rookie Furhire, which allows you to tribute 1 special summon monster. Yes, you can use any monster for this, and then special summon a Furhire monster from your hand or deck with a level 1 higher or lower than the tributed monster. As the Furhire monsters all have different levels, we're able to use this to go into the next Furhire we need for really whatever combo we're trying to accomplish. The only downside is Rookie Furhire does lock you into only having Furhire monsters attacking for the remainder of the turn. Obviously inconsequential when we go first, but very unfortunate otherwise, as it'll typically lock us out of closing out of a game. But really this deck more leans towards a control deck, so really we're just trying to gain control over the board and the game. So closing out the game isn't necessarily the most important thing we're trying to accomplish with this deck. Typically, the monster we want to search with Rookie Furhire is going to be Beat, Bladesman Furhire. Beat has the ability to special summon Furhire monsters from hand, but also when another Furhire monster is special summoned while he's on the board, you can search and add any Furhire monster to your hand. So once again, a nice little +1, but he's also level 3, so if we had, say, any special summon Spright on board, we could use Rookie Furhire to tribute it off, and then we'll be able to get Beat onto the board. We're on 3 Beat because he can be a play starter with certain other cards in hand, but honestly, he could be cut down to 2 or possibly even 1, depending on what your preference might be. I found the plays that he could make were pretty decent, so I liked keeping 3 for now. But for Beat himself, typically the monster we'll be searching is going to be our One-Over-Fall champion Furhire. He boasts very solid stats, but also on summon you can excavate cards equal to the number of Furhires on the board, and then add 1 of those cards to hand. Just another great +1, but it's also nice for digging for interruption via our large hand trap lineup, or an extender like Spright Blue if you didn't happen to open it. Also, while on board, you can discard a Furhire card to negate the activation of a monster effect. So not only great stats and a +1 on summon, he's also great interruption. And he's easily searchable thanks to Beat. Other than that, we're on 1 Philo Messenger Furhire, who also has the ability to special summon Furhire monsters from hand, but when a Furhire monster is special summoned, Philo can revive a Furhire from grave. Just a nice recovery and extension, also pairs somewhat well with Rookie Furhire. Since Philo is level 1, meaning you're able to go into Philo by like tributing off a Rex or any other level 2 monster. We're on 2 Donpa Marksman Furhire, who also can special summon a Furhire from hand. You know, same old. But also he has the ability to pop a face-up card when a Furhire monster is special summoned. Decent for clearing opponent's boards, but also his interruption on the opponent's turn when we can trigger it via a revive from something like a Rex in our grave. Or say a revive from Spright Elf by bringing back like one of the level 2 Furhires we run. And as Donpa is a level 2, he obviously pairs nicely with our Spright package, so that's also welcome. I end up liking him at 2 because he plays nicely with Spright monsters being a level 2 monster himself, and he can open up combo lines when paired with something like Beat in your opening hand. Last for the main deck Furhires, we're on a 1-of copy of Steel Strategist Furhire. He recovers resources, but he's really run in the deck as a monster you can rookie into when you tribute off a level 3 Beat for the level 4 Seal. Seal is important for a certain combo line, so we're on just the 1 copy when it comes up, but even if not, it's just some nice recovery for follow-up turns when you get to use them. Just as a little aside, because we're on the triple fossil dig, we're also running a single copy of the level 2 Dino Wrestler, Colaslat. I probably botched that. We'll just call him Cole. I found this tech from Loom. I really like it. The main reason we're running Cole is Rex can't really combo on his own. He needs a second monster you contribute off for Rookie Furhire. So without Cole, if we open Rex and Fossil Dig, without running Cole, we don't really have a way to combo off if we have no other extenders in hand. But because Cole is a level 2 dinosaur, we would be able to search him with Fossil Dig, and then we're able to combo off from there because you can use Fossil Dig, search out Cole, then use his own effect to special summon himself, normal summon Rex, search Rookie, and then tribute Cole with Rookie and summon Beat, and then combo from there. And because we're on 3 Rex and 3 Fossil Dig, there is a 7.5% chance you see a hand of Rex and Fossil Dig and 3 other dead cards. If I set this calc up correctly and counted the dead cards properly, which I'm not sure I did correctly for each. But anyway, you'll see the hand enough. I think Cole's worth running as a 1-of. He's kind of a Garnet, so he's only a 1-of in the deck. He's not the worst card ever to see in hand. He can't special summon himself for free, and he's a level 2, which is nice with the Spright stuff. He just has a link summoning restriction, which is easy to play around when we can just tribute him off for Rookie Furhire, or use him as an XYZ material for, say, Gigantic Spright. So I just ended up really liking him. Before we get into the Furhire specific extra deck monsters, they're all pretty standard Spright, or just all around generally strong extra deck monsters. Because the Furhires can do a decent job at getting quite a few link material on board, we can run extra deck monsters like Apollo USA and Axicode, which is nice being able to access those. Each of these extra deck monsters that are pictured here should be pretty self-explanatory, or you'll see them in action in the duels. If you have any questions over any of them, feel free to post it below. For the extra deck Furhires, they're linked to Donner Dagger Furhire. You can target 1 Furhire monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy them. A decent removal for the cost of 2 monsters with different names. Occasionally, rarely comes up, but more importantly, you contribute 1 monster to special summon 1 Furhire from your hand or grave with a different original name than the tributed monster. But if you tribute a link monster, you get to special summon 1 more monster after that. And because there's no restriction, Donner can just tribute herself, and then you're able to special summon 2 Furhires from grave. And the way this effect resolves is the first Furhire you'll revive will be able to activate their effect when the second monster gets revived, because it'll treat it as a Furhire getting special summoned while they're on the board. Donner is a great way to trigger the Furhire's effects, but you don't happen to have a way to proc them otherwise. And Donner ends up being one of the main pieces of our combo. We're only on a single copy. You may want to consider upping her to two, but two copies never really came up for me at any point, but I could foresee situations where it would matter. Last but obviously not least, Fulgo Justice for Hire. On special summon, he special summons a Furhire from deck with a different type than the 3 monsters used to summon himself. And then the rest of his effect reads that if an opponent's card is destroyed, you get to draw 1 card. But if you control 3 Furhires at the time that card is destroyed, instead of 1, you get to draw 3 cards. How many Yu-Gi cards even exist that say draw 3 cards? Get out of here, Maxi. No one likes you. It's not too challenging to set up a situation where you can pop a card and have a bunch of Furhires on board, so we will be proccing this draw 3 effect. This deck just ends up having an insane ability to generate resources between cards like Fulgo, Rafal, and Beat, but also the sprites themselves. But of course, don't take my word for it. Up next, we'll go over some of the standard combo lines, and then I have some duels to showcase the deck in action. After that, some other cards to consider, and then my final thoughts. If you have any questions at any point, please let me know. If you want to follow along with the combo lines or just for future reference, be sure to check out the combo spreadsheet in the description. But with that, let's see what the deck can do. So like most Spright decks, the combo lines aren't too challenging. Depending on the cards you open, like if you have like a Donpa in hand, you might not need to summon Donpa with Fulgo, and then you can alter the lines slightly, but that's probably just going to take some playing around with the deck to know when that's beneficial and you should go for something like that. I would take too long to go over every minor variation in this video, so please note these combos are just your somewhat standard lines you can expect to be going for. The biggest tip I can give is to be careful with the summoning restrictions from like Gigantic Spright and Spright Starter. Both lock you into level, link, and rank 2 monsters for the remainder of the turn, so that's basically going to lock you out of basically any Furhire play because only Rex and Donpa are level 2. You just need to get used to playing around that and trying to use those effects as late as possible. Do remember, though, that Blue, Jet, and Elf do not put any restriction on you as well, so feel free to use them as extenders and as material for someone like Fulgo, as he just needs 3 monsters of different types and all of the sprites are thunder types. Also remember that the Furhire Fulgo special summons from deck is a monster with a different type than the ones that were used for his summon. So if you want to say special summon a Donpa from deck, make sure you're not using a Donpa as one of your material for Fulgo. Also remember that Fulgo himself cannot be used as link material. Last, just try and remember that Rookie Furhire locks you into only Furhire monsters attacking for the turn. I unfortunately made that mistake a couple of times and will probably continue to make that mistake, but I wanted to point it out to you all as well, my smart and super intelligent listeners. But with that, let's review the lines. This first line is going to be probably your best opener. It's going to require Beat plus Rex, and then some sort of Spright Extender from hand. In our instance, it's going to be blue. You want to start off by normal summoning Beat, activate his spec effect to special summon Rex, and then you'll activate Rex's effect on summon. And you will search out Rookie Furhire. Beat is going to search out Rafal. And then from here, you're going to go ahead and special summon Spright Blue just to trigger his effect while you have a level 2 monster on board. Go ahead and search out Jet. Ignore the fact that I already had Jet in hand, just trying to show off the line. And then from here, you'll activate Rookie Furhire. We're going to tribute off Beat. And then we will special summon Seal because we want to be able to get a monster out that can special summon that Rafal from hand. That will activate Seal. And you will special summon Rafal. They'll activate Rafal's effect, and you can chain block it with Seal, and Seal can add that Beat back. Not that useful, but maybe we can use Beat again next turn, and then it's just nice to have a card you can discard for Rafal's monster effect negation. So Rafal trigger, you can grab whatever the best card is. From here, we'll grab this Called by the Grave. If you didn't like open Spright Blue, now you could possibly grab a Spright Blue, something like that. Just a nice little +1. And then you will link off Seal and Rex in order to go into Spright Elf. You will activate Spright Elf's effect, and you'll bring back Rex. Now we will link these 3 off in order to go into Fulgo. And that'll trigger Fulgo's effect on summon. And at this point, you want to find Donpa. And since we have a level 2 monster on board with Donpa, we can special summon Jet, activate Jet's effect. And we, of course, want to grab Starter. Activate Starter. And typically I like grabbing Carrot, because we have some ways to get monster effect negation. You might not have a way to get spell trap negation otherwise. And at this point, you can either leave Carrot on board for negation, or you could link these two off to go into IP Mask. And then, of course, you could revive that Carrot on the opponent's turn. And then just to show it off, I'll show you how you can react on an opponent's turn with these cards. So we normal summons a monster, he's got a face-up card, so we'll go ahead and trigger Rex. Banish him from the grave, special summon Rafal. That's going to trigger Rafal's on summon effect. They'll also trigger Donpa's effect on the summon of Rafal. You can chain block as you want there. Donpa's going to pop that face-up card. Rafal's going to draw us a card. Grab an Ash Blossom, very nice. And then because a card was destroyed, we can trigger Falgo, and because we control enough Furhires in the grave, he gets to draw us 3 cards. So pretty insane interruption and card advantage generation there. And then, of course, we still have the revive from Elf, and then we also have the Link summoning effect with IP Mask. So great end board, definitely going to be difficult for an opponent to crack. So here's the Rex plus beat line when we don't happen to find the Spright portion of our deck. So once again, you're going to start off by summoning beat. You'll activate his effect to special summon Rex, and then you'll of course trigger both of their effects then. Rex is once again going to search out Rookie for Hire, and beat is once again going to search out Fall. And we'll activate Rookie for Hire. We need to be able to get a monster on board that can special summon that Rafal. So we will tribute off Beat in order to grab Seal. Special summon Seal. Activate Seal's effect, special summon Rafal. And then you'll get to add back that Beat, as well as draw a card with Rafal here, and you'll be able to chain block the Rafal draw effect there, which is pretty nice. Although, honestly, your opponent probably would have ashed already if they had it. Grab an Imperm, awesome, more interruption for our opponent's turn. And from here, you will link off all 3 in order to go into Folgo. And then that'll trigger Folgo's effect to special summon a Furhire from deck. And we, of course, want to grab Donpa. So then we have the possible pop from Donpa that we can trigger on our opponent's turn by reviving someone with our Rex that's in the grave. Probably Rafal. So not our strongest end board, but it is decent. Definitely if we'd added some of the Sprite stuff would have been improved, but sometimes you don't always open the best, and I just wanted to make you aware of how you want to approach the line. So this combo requires Donpa plus Rex in hand. So we'll start off by normal summoning Donpa, and then we'll activate his effect, special summon Rex. We want to activate Rex's effect here, but make sure you obviously don't want to activate Donpa here because we don't want to pop one of our own cards. And then we will search Rookie for Hire. Sorry, I kind of screwed this up. I already had Rookie for Hire in my hand. So just go ahead and trigger it here, and we will tribute off Donpa. And we want to get out Beat. Rookie for Hire would have been this card I searched, and then we would have activated it there. So sorry about the confusion there. And then we will link these 2 off for Donner. Activate Donner's effect. Tribute Donner. And then we want to special summon Beat. Make sure Beat is the one you special summon first, because we want to be able to trigger Beat's effect, and then bring back Rex. That'll trigger Beat's effect in order to search, and we of course want to search out Rafal. And then Beat has not used the special summon effect yet, so we'll use that now, and we will special summon Rafal. Because Rafal was special summoned, that'll trigger his effect to draw a card after excavating. Yeah, whatever the best card here is. Then from here, you want to link these 3 off for Folgo. On summon, that'll trigger Folgo's effect. And we'll grab Donpa. And we ended on basically the same board we had from the combo before. But I just want to show it off. It basically works with any of the low-level Furhires in hand along with Rex. This combo line requires exactly Beat and Donpa. So we'll start off by normal summoning Beat, activate its effect, and we'll special summon Donpa. That'll of course trigger Beat, and we will search out no one else but Rafal. Now we'll activate Donpa. We're going to special summon that Rafal. Activate his effect to execute and draw. Make sure you don't activate Donpa here. We don't want to pop our own cards. And then you'll add whatever the best thing here is. You'll link all 3 off for full go. Full go's effective trigger. We can't grab Donpa this time because he was one of our link material, but we can grab Rex in order to trigger Rex's effect. So grab Rex, activate his effect. Normally we would search mercenaries here, but because it was already in hand, we'll just grab Rookie. But now we want to activate mercenaries. And we want to bring back Donpa. Now we're going to overlay these two for Gigantic Spright. Activate Gigantic Sprite's effect, and this will give us access to our Sprite line. I ignore that starter I had in hand. You would have been able to use that instead, but I just wanted to show it off what you can do with the 2 cards I discussed before. So now we'll grab Blue. Blue will grab Jet. Special Summon Jet. Jet will grab Starter. Now, of course, obviously, because I already had Starter, you would have grabbed Smashers there, but just for the normal combo line, we didn't open like that. You would have wanted to grab Starter there. You'll link these 2 off for Elf. Use Elf. And we want to revive Donpa, just so we can set up an interruption on our opponent's turn, as well as some way to trigger Full Go's draw on the opponent's turn as well. And then we'll activate Starter, and then typically I'll grab Carrot, because we're able to set up Monster Effect Negate with Rafal. From here, you can link these 2 off for IP Mask, or you could leave the Carrot on board if you think that's better. It's just going to come down to preference. And then we have our end board. We're able to revive a Carrot from grave, and then we have Rex, who is able to revive or fall, which is going to trigger Donpa to pop, and then Full go to draw. Just very strong end board. This combo line requires Rex and then a Sprite starter in hand. In this instance, it's blue. Go ahead and ignore that beat in hand. Just imagine he's not there. Just trying to show off this combo line. So you start off by normal summoning Rex, and you'll grab Rookie for hire. He'll then special summon that Sprite Blue because you control level 2 monster, and that'll trigger Sprite Blue, and Sprite Blue will grab Jet. He'll activate Rookie for hire, and we're going to tribute off that Sprite Blue. And then because he's level 2, we can go into the level 3 beat. And then we can link these 2 off for Donner for hire. Activate Donner. Tribute yourself. And then we want to bring back Beat. Make sure you're special summoning Beat first, because we want to trigger his effect when the Rex is special summoned. And then you'll special summon Rex. And that'll trigger Beat. And Beat will search for fall. And because Beat haven't used his special summon from hand effect, we'll use that now. Special summon that Rafal, and then I'll trigger Rafal's draw effect. Grab whatever the best card is. Probably would have grabbed the Carrot here, but just to show off everything, we'll grab Donpa there. And then we'll special summon that Jet, activate Jet's effect, grab nothing else but Starter. You'll link Beat and Rex for Sprite Elf. Activate Elf's effect and revive. Make sure you revive Rex here and not Sprite Blue, because if you revive Sprite Blue, you won't be able to go into Fall Go, which is what we're about to do next. And then you'll link these 3 off, because they're all monsters of different types, into Full Go. Put him in the Elf zone, so he's untargetable, which is always nice. Full Go's effect to trigger. Special summon Donpa. Activate Sprite Starter. And then we'll grab Carrot. You could grab Red here if you prefer Red, but typically I've been preferring Carrot. So we'll grab Carrot at this point. So we have the pop from Donpa that we're able to trigger with the revive from Rex on the opponent's turn. Rex can bring back Rafal. Rafal has a monster effect negate. And then we have revive from Elf as well as draw from Fall Go. Great end board. And just to show it off, I just wanted to show off how you use the Dino Wrestler. So imagine you open like Rex and Fossil Dig and nothing else. You would start off by special summoning the Dino Wrestler, and then at this point you would normal summon Rex. And normally you had a Rookie for hire, but I already had it in hand. So you had Rookie for hire, and then you will tribute off the Dino Wrestler, and then that'll allow you to go into Beat, and then it's going to be a pretty standard combo line from there. From here we'll go into Donner because we want to trigger Beat Search effect. Summon Donner, activate Donner, tribute herself. Bring back Beat. I'm going to summon him first, and then bring back Rex. That'll trigger Beat. use beat, search out Rafal. And then from this point, if you didn't have Spright Extenders, you would go like that standard line of full go into Donpa pass. But if you had Spright Extenders, you could do a Spright line afterwards. Just going to depend on what you find. And, you know, sometimes like Rafal will find something. So you just need to be flexible and just understand what your cards can do. So at this point, imagine we didn't have any Spright stuff. We'll just link these 3 off for full go. Activate full go. Special summon Donpa. And then we have our end board there. We can revive Rafal with Rex, and then they'll pop something with Donpa, and then full draw. But like I said, with the Spright Extenders in hand, we would have been able to do more there if we wanted to. It's just a matter of understanding what the deck can do. Last combo I have from you, this requires any normal summonable level 2 monster along with Spright Extender. For this instance, it's going to be Spright Jet, normal summon Spright Jet, they'll special summon Blue. Blue will search out Jet. We're going to special summon Jet. They'll activate Jet's effect. Jet will search out Starter. Activate Starter. Special summon Red. Overlay a Jet and a Blue. Go into Gigantic, or just overlay Blue with whatever the other like level 2 monster was. Activate Gigantic. And from here we want to search out Rex, because really there's not anyone better to search. And this time, instead of searching Rookie, we're going to have Rex search out Mayhem, because then we could like revive Rex on the follow-up turn, and then that'll trigger the search for Rookie. So you'll link these 2 off for Elf. Activate Elf's effect. Bring back whoever, it doesn't really matter. And then you'll just link Jet along with that monster he brought back for IP Mask. So not our best board, but it did set us up for some good furhire plays on the follow-up, and this board is somewhat difficult for some decks to crack. But that was the last combo I had to showcase off, at least for this video. I think there might be some more in the combo spreadsheet. If you think there's some I missed, please post them below. I'd like to review that just to make sure I'm playing the deck as good as possible. But other than that, I have some duels to showcase the deck in action, so sit back and enjoy. Alright, hand's looking solid. Let's see what we can make happen with it. Won the coin flip, which is always great, so we'll start up with that normal summon Rex. We'll search out Rookie for Hire, special summon that Jet, search out Starter, tribute off that Jet, get beat. But go into Donner, activate Donner, tribute yourself. It's nice when the opponent doesn't have any eruption, honestly. You get to go full combo on them. Use beat, search out Rafal, use beat, special summon that Rafal. Rafal's going to draw a card for us. DD Crow, always nice to get some extra interruption, nice to see that. And we do want to go into full go before we activate that Spright Starter, because we don't want to 2-lock ourselves. And this time we're going to use Seal because of that Donpa in hand. So we'll use activate Seal's effect, special summon that Donpa, get that beat back. And at this point, when activate Spright Starter, get Blue, use Blue to search out Carrot. Now we'll go into Spright Elf. It's unfortunate about these zones, but it's just the way we had to do our plays. And then we'll special summon that Blue just to summon Carrot, contribute off, and then we'll set that Imperm pass to our opponent. He's going to go into battle phase. He's going to try to evenly match us. We have the Carrot to negate that, which is very nice. He'll go main phase 2. He's going to activate that Sea Moon. We'll go ahead and bring Rex back at this point because we want to be able to pop that Black Whirlwind. After the resolution of this effect, Black Whirlwind will trigger. We'll activate Rafal to draw, and then we'll activate Donpa to pop that so it doesn't resolve. See what we find. We'll just grab Smashers. Maybe that comes up for the next turn. We'll activate Falco, draw a bunch of cards, get an Ash. Very nice to stop this search here. And then we still have 2 DD Crows. He's going to Synchro off here. We're going to go into a pretty big chain. We'll DD Crow his monster because I believe that stops from being special summon. He'll try to pop my Rafal. We'll use Rafal's own effect to negate him. Then we'll activate the Imprint to negate his monster, and then we'll use Spright Elf just to revive an extra monster from the grave because we know our opponent doesn't have access to the battle phase. It's nice to have two monsters on board. He's going to go into this big Synchro. Doesn't really do anything for him. It goes to the end phase, passes to us. Should be very, very easy cleanup here. Yeah, just link all of them off just for Underworld Goddess, why not? Pretty clean answer to the board, and he scoops it up there. Just one of those duels where the coin flip, opponent has no way to interact with us. Pretty easy game for us. Likewise, if we had like lost the coin flip, we might have been on the other end of that. So good game, friend. Alright, this one we lost the coin flip. We at least have one hand trap in hand. Let's see if that does anything for us. He's going to start with that Pod Desires. Hate to see that. It's going to go into Incredible Ecclesia. Get that Moye, activate the effects. He's going to reveal Long Wand. Hate to see that. Synchro these two off for Draco Berserker of the Tendi. That's a little weird. I'm not sure about that. He's going to set 2 and pass. I feel like that wasn't quite correct. Let's see if we can capitalize on it. We do have a strong hand, plenty of gas. He's going to open with that Max C. We've got the called by for that. Love to see it. We normal summon Donpa, we'll use his effect, and then he will get banished there, but the effect still resolves. We'll get Rex. He's going to Ash here. Unfortunately, we can't deal with that, but we at least have this bright blue follow-up. We've got gas, gas, gas. We're going to keep going, especially on that Jet. Jet's going to grab Spashers. That's going to be a nice way to answer his monster on board. We'll search out that Carrot, special summon Carrot. Then we'll go Gigantic, activate Gigantic, get that Donpa. Link these two off for Elf. Use Elf, bring back Rex. He's going to called by. We do have the Carrot to negate that. We unfortunately have to lose our Elf, but I really need this Rex in rotation. I really need Rex to come back so Donpa can pop that monster. We'll link these two off for Elf. I don't want to go to battle phase. I was worried about whatever sort of jank my opponent had in the back row, so I go ahead and pass it back to my opponent. We're going to go ahead and Rex here. He's going to called by again. We unfortunately have to use our Elf again to negate that. I'm not sure why he didn't chain his second called by on the last turn to stop the Rex. I guess he didn't value it enough. He's going to get the triple attack count, draw 2. He's going to find Long Wand, activate the effect. We're going to use Smashers here. We're going to banish our Carrot because we don't really need it too much longer. Banish that Long Wand. He's going to have to pass it back to us. Doesn't look like much for our board, but it's actually stronger than it looks. We have Rex. We will link these two off to go into Donner. Activate Donner's effect. He is going to max C here. I don't want to really play into that, so I'll just have Donner clear that token, set 2. That should be enough to deal with whatever my opponent's on off a single draw. He draws. Nothing from my opponent goes to his end phase. We'll activate Mayhem. We're going to bring back that Rex. He's going to max C. Not sure why I use it here. Sure, we'll waste that max C now. Rex, we're going to go ahead and grab Rookie, and from here it should be a pretty easy game for us to finish up, depending on what my opponent's back row is. I'll activate Rookie furhire, tribute off Rex. We're finally able to get beat in rotation, activate Donner, tribute these two off, bring back these two. That's going to trigger beat. We're going to get Rafal, activate beat, special summon Rafal. My opponent activates Time Space Trap Hole, weird tech, and then I only won the run copy of Rafal, so Rafal search Rafal. We've been able to special summon that Rafal with Donner. Opponent scoops it up there. We had a pretty easy game from that point. Good game. Alright, won the coin flip. I got some starters, got some hand traps. Not a bad hand. So we'll start out by normal summoning Carrot. That allows special summon Jet. Activate Jet, get starter. Starter get blue. Blue search out red. Exceed these two off for Gigantic. We'll special summon red at this point. Activate that. Go ahead and get Rex. Rex search Mayhem. Link these two off for Elf. And use Elf, bring back blue. Link these two off for IP Mask. We've got Red, we've got IP Mask, and we then have Max C and Ash. A pretty decent hand, and then we also have the Mayhem follow-up. In the draw phase, we'll go ahead and fire that Max C. Opponent doesn't have a response to that. He's going to activate that Terraforming. He's, of course, going to grab that planet. Of course, he's on tier. What else? At this point, I want to go ahead and get Carrot on board to scare him from activating his field spell as long as possible, so I'll special summon that Carrot. He's going to go Medora. He's going to go Kelback. We'll negate that Kelback with the Ash. I don't know why people don't really like Ash against here. I think it does have some play. He's going to summon that Snow. He is going to flip my Carrot face down, activate his planet. From here, I'm going to go ahead and link off into Avermax. I know that Tier has a pretty difficult time dealing with him. He's going to go Dugaris. At this point, we'll go ahead and Red. Red can tribute face down monsters, and for some reason, I guess he's clicking button. He activates the Snow, banishes his entire board to flip my red face down. All right, yeah, and then concedes from there. We had a pretty easy game on the crackback. Good game. Lost the coin flip. Let's see what my opponent's on. Resonators, you never know what you might find in the cups. So yeah, I always like to see what the you know, the off-meta rogue decks can do. So we're gonna go Red Rising. He's gonna bring back his tuner. I have, obviously, you know, I go second. I'm gonna open 0 hand traps. That's just the nature of the beast. He's gonna sync off into Chaos Ruler after getting 2 more tuners on the board. Chaos Ruler is going to find 4 spells and a 5th Dark Monster. So unfortunate for him, but at least he did find something. And then he'll go into Hot Red, sync these 2 off for Bane. No one cared about Bane until he put on the mask. And then he'll use Bane to bring back Hot Red. So all of that to put up a singular negate. I always thought Resonators was cool. I guess maybe it's not as cool as I think it is. We'll go ahead and start off with this Fossil Dig, get Rex. We'll special summon this one. We'll normal summon Rex, and then Rex will get the negate from Hot Red. Pretty reasonable to negate from, but we've got gas in hand. We'll go Blue Jet, go into Gigantic, activate Gigantic. We'll go ahead and get Donpa here. Activate Starter, get Red. Link these 2 off for Elf. Elf bring back Rex. That'll trigger Donpa. Donpa pop his boy. Link these 2 off for IP Mask. And then I guess I forgot I wasn't under rookie, so I definitely could have pushed for more damage here if I had been paying attention, but we'll just get in for a little bit here. A decent board. Opponent does have a lot of cards in hand, but I'm not sure how much that is actually going to be that useful to him. It's going to start off by using this Assault Beast here. We'll go ahead and Elf here. We want to just get that Rex on board. And just as someone that Red can tribute off, and then I'll go as Search with Rex. So Rex will search out Mayhem just for follow-up on next turn. He'll activate his Tuner. We're going to go ahead and negate Chaos Ruler from coming back with that red. And from here we're going to IP Mask, and I forgot that I couldn't go into Avermax here is who I really wanted to go into, so I went into Underworld Goddess because I figured that would also end his turn if I took off the one monster he could synchro with. I was correct. And then I go from here, I go into Mayhem. We bring back Rex. Rex is going to search out Rookie. We use Rookie in order to get beat. Trigger Philo. That's going to bring back Rex. That'll trigger beat, special summon or fall, draw a card. Grab Seal, why not? And then if I had been paid, we'll link these two off for full go, bring back Donpa. If I had been paying better attention, I could have used Seal to special summon that beat and then pop one of the monsters, and then would have been able to get in for lethal here because I forgot that I was under Rookie, and unfortunately Underworld Goddess cannot attack here, so I will pass back here, but we're in a pretty commanding position. It's going to be difficult for my opponent to come back from here. He's going to go into Ascator. We've got the Ash Blossom for that. He's going to try to Chaos Ruler. We can Underworld Goddess that. He's going to normal summon and Honorable Sudoku. Good game, friend. Well played. Lost the coin flip, but we do have two Imperms, so nice to see those on hand. And it looks like it's some sort of zombie vampire deck with Eldlich. And of course, the one deck, they don't really matter. We draw our Imperms. But you know, it is what it is. But we do have some decent follow-up, and it looks like my opponent's going all in just to summon this Eldlich and set a back row and pass. So we've got 3 cards to clear on my opponent's board. That shouldn't be too tricky for us, especially with all the gas in hand, especially with the Spright starter off the top. So we'll go ahead and special summon the Dino Wrestler. You know he's glued to my opening hands. Then we'll go into blue. Blue search out Jet. Jet search out Smashers. Smashers will be nice for dealing with Eldlich. And then we'll go Rex. Rex to search out Rookie. He is going to get out his field spell, which is a little annoying for us because that means we can't full go, but really Spright otherwise doesn't really care about Zombie World. So we'll go ahead and use Elf here. He's going to try to banish the monster. Elf's going to special summon, so at this point we'll just go ahead and Smashers the Golden Lord away, and then Haquero is going to come out, but he's not going to be able to banish anything. We'll get Rafal. We'll get out Red. We'll special summon that Red off the Rafal search. That's always nice to find. We'll get him for some damage. Can't really find lethal, but we're up like 60 cards to my opponent in Zombie World. I think it's being a little difficult for him, especially when we're just gonna keep going off. We'll go Gigantic, search out Carrot, link these two off for IP Masks, set our 2 Imperms. Good luck. This is gonna have to be the top deck of a century. He is gonna Eldlixir in order to set Conk. And normal Cyberstein, that is kind of crazy, but obviously cannot deal with this board. We'll go ahead and get Rex. Beat, just search. We're just plussing to the Cyberstein. We've got the Imperm for that. We also would have the Rafal. So just easy game for us. A good game. Alright, another 1 coin flip, and this hand is looking great. We'll Fossil Dig, get Rex. And then we've got the Spright Blues and the Donpas in hand, which is always nice. So we'll normal summon Rex. We'll search out Mayhem because we already had Rookie Furhire. We'll use Blue. We'll get Red at this point just to put a negation on board just in case it comes up. And then we'll get Beat. Link those 2 off for Donner. Bring back Beat. Bring back Rex. That'll trigger Beat. Get Rafal. Use Beat. Special summon Rafal. Draw a card. Grab that Max C. Why not? Always nice to find hand traps. Special summon that Jet. Get Starter. Link 2 off for Elf. Elf, bring back Rex. Link these 3 off for full go. Use full go, we'll get Seal because we have Donpa in hand. We use Seal, special summon Donpa, get Beat in hand. That's nice. That'll be someone we can discard for fall next turn. And then we'll go IP Mask, and then we'll start it for Carrot at the end, right before we go to our end phase. Throw back to our opponent. Let's see if he can play through this. And Fallen of Albaz actually plays against this board crazy strong. That is really rough for us. We'll throw Maxi. I forgot to toggle on to do it in the draw phase. We'll do it there. Didn't matter. He's got the called by. And depending on who he decides to fuse off with really is going to matter for us here, but he chooses IP Mask, which I think was honestly the worst choice. He's going to go into Mirror Jade, but we'll go ahead and trigger our Donpas, our Elves. He's got a Super Poly as well, and he'll get off Falgo, which isn't that big a deal for us. It does stop us from getting some draws, but we can use Elf to bring back IP Mask. That's probably why IP Mask was like the worst thing he could fuse with here. He's going to go into Dragus Stapelia, Fright for Packbridge, grab Poly, use Gold Sark. We'll go ahead and IP Mask at this point. He's going to drag a Spelio. He cannot target our IP Mask because it is in the Elf Zone. And then I was like, I might as well just clear his board, so we'll go into White Woman. He's already used his normal summon, heal Poly, and go into Lubellion, but he's got nothing to discard. We would have been able to negate it with Rafal anyway, and he scoops it up from there. We would have had a pretty strong follow-up anyway, so good game. I think if you had been more familiar with my deck, you might have been able to play it a little better, but I'm not 100% on that. Alright, penultimate duel I have for you. Hand's looking a little janky, but Luis Maxi is a level 2 monster. You know, the sprites love that, so we'll Special Summon Jet. Get Starter, Special Summon Red, go into Gigantic. Activate Gigantic, get out Blue. Blue, search out Carrot. Link these two off for Spright Elf. Special Summon that Carrot, Spright Elf. Bring back Blue. Link these two off for IP Mask. Just classic Spright end board, at least for this deck. And at least we have Maxi follow-up. Go ahead and shotgun that Maxi in the draw phase. No response for us, so it's always nice when that resolves. My opponent threatened battle phase here, so we wanted to grab Carrot just in case he tried to evenly match us. From there, he's going to go back to his main phase. He'll activate this pot of P, and it looks like he is on Traptrix, so let's see what we can do against that. He's going to set 5 summon. From here, we're going to go into Avermax. Good luck dealing with that with this board. He's going to go into Sarah, and then pass it back to us. Carrot is going to help dealing with this, but this is going to be a little difficult to crack. He's going to Soul Drain. Luckily, we already have an established board, otherwise that might be difficult for us. He's going to Floodgate Trap full Rex. Rex still at least gets the search, and we can at least tribute that Rex off with our sprites, even though he's face down, so I'm not too concerned about that. He's going to reset that. From here, I'm just going to go to battle phase, just start clearing his board. Sure, send my Carrot back to hand, that doesn't really matter. Avermax can't be targeted. Go ahead and bring back Carrot. He's going to Trap Trick. I don't really care about that. I will rather Carrot whatever you set with that Trap Trick. And he's going to set a Torrential. I guess we'll just have to play around that. Back to my opponent, he's going to set one pass back to us. His Floodgate got banished there. And from here, we're just going to go into battle phase. And easy lethal. He had nothing to stop that. So good game. Sprite stuff. Just doing Sprite stuff, I guess. Last one I have for you. Lost the coin flip. Preparation of Rites. We go ahead and let that through. Illusion of Chaos. Let's see what he's on. And Magician's Rod. Of course it's DM. You know I've got to throw a DM duel in here. We're going to throw out that Ash on the Rod. He actually has the called by for that. Unfortunate. He's going to get that Dark Magic Circle. Activate that Dark Magic Circle. Add a DM to hand. And pass. Rod Circle. Honestly, the one of the crazier end boards Dark Magician puts up. Let's just go ahead and make it happen from here. We'll Special Summon Cole. We'll Special Summon Beat. He's got the Max C. We'll call by that. He called by my Ash. We'll call by his Max C. Only fair. Beats. Special Summon Seal. Seal. Special Summon Rafal off the Beat Search. Rafal and Spright Blue off the top. You'd love to see that. Special Summon that Blue. Blue search out Jet. Link these two off for Elf. Activate Elf. Bring back Blue. Link these 3 off for Fulgo. Activate Fulgo, get Donpa, Jet gets Starter. And I think he's had enough there. A good game, friend. Sorry for the light bullying. That was the last duel I had for you. Up next, some other cards you might want to throw into the deck, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the deck. For other cards to consider, I really don't have much for you here. The deck is pretty tight. The only thing you might really want to consider would be some of my ratios. Like you could drop Beat down to 2 copies or 1 copies, or drop Donpa down to 1 copy. But that's going to come down to your preference, what you think is better. I like Beat because of the combos he enables, and I like the extra copy of Donpa since he does a fine job at pairing with the sprites. But feel free to play around with it. Like I said, all the furhires and everything, they're all pretty searchable, so you could lower the numbers. For non-engine, you could switch it up a bit, include some other staples that you like better. I should probably try to work in triple tactics talent. This card is insane right now. You might want to consider Veiler over Imperm. Because of the 4 draws you have between Rafal and Falgo, if you set up your board properly, if you draw into a Veiler on your opponent's turn, it's live, whereas an Imperm would not be. I think Imperm is just the better card with just some of the better utility it has. I mean, number 1, it can't be called by. Also, you're able to use it on your own turn time for some board breaking when that comes up. You could maybe try Dimension Shifter, but the Furhires use their grave so much, I don't think he pairs very well with this deck. If you wanted to run Shifter with Spright, you probably need to change it to the Melfi Spright build. The Melfi stuff takes up so little room, you could probably honestly include Caddy and Penny. You might run into some issues with board space, but obviously Caddy and Penny are very strong. Giving you easy access to Herald of the Arclight as just another interruption you can throw up, and we wouldn't have too hard a time getting Melfi of the Forest summoned onto the board in order to search out the Caddy to set that all up. But at that point, you're probably just running a bad Melfi Spright list, but feel free to try it. Like I said, it's not going to take up too many main deck spots. To improve the Spright engine itself, you could run the Frogs or a Nimble Beaver. I just think it would take too much main deck space, and honestly would be running into issues with board space, so I don't think they're worth running for this particular build. I was having some trouble closing out games, so maybe I should be on Gamma Burst. I just found it not working that great with her higher stuff since the level 2 monsters have such low stats, and a lot of the time our end boards don't include that many cards Gamma Burst would affect. So I ended up dropping it, but there were a couple of duels I had where I almost reconsidered it. If you're finding you need more spell and trap negation, you could run Wiz Sage for hire, and then you would be able to use Wiz instead of or alongside Rafal, since they're somewhat similar monsters. I'm just not really a fan of adding another high-level brick monster into the main deck, and I don't think she would come up enough. I'd much rather have the draw from her fall rather than the life point gain, so I'm not currently on Wiz. And honestly, a Carrot and some of the other interruption we can put up is probably enough. Spell Trap interruption. I know before I said you could like drop Beat down to like 2 or 1 copies, but maybe you like really like Beat, and Beat is a warrior type monster, so you could go with Feroda. I'm not sure that's worth it, but you know, I just wanted to point it out. If you want the ability to deal with back row better, you could run Recon Scout for hire. You would either run it alongside your Donpas or replace a Donpa with him probably, since he's basically the same card as Donpa, but just instead of popping face up cards, he pops face down. He's also a level 2 monster, which is obviously nice. He's also useful when you want to like to trigger your full go draw, but your opponent just like sets a bunch of cards instead of putting anything faced up. So I could see where Recon could come up, but I just don't think it would be often enough to make it worth running him. Last, you could include a Runic engine with the deck. Runic for hire is a very strong deck, as like the strong control and drawing tools from the Furhires pairs nicely with the strong control and drawing tools from Runic, but it's somewhat very different deck from this one. I think you can run the Spright stuff alongside of it, but I'm not sure if that's worth it or standard. Honestly, I'm not that familiar with the deck, but I wanted to point out in case you wanted to like look into it. And then for the extra deck, just some other rank 2 XYZs that work well with the Sprites. Mannequin Cat and End of Anubis can cheese games versus tier if you want to find the space and want to do that. Last thing, maybe a second copy of Donner might be nice. But like I said before, all the duels, I never had that come up for me, but I could see some situations where it would. But that's pretty much everything I could think of for cards you might also want to consider for your build. If you think there's something I missed, please let me know. But other than that, I'll give you my final thoughts on the deck, and I'll let you go. This deck is awesome. Not only are there plenty of unique lines available to the deck is able to put up some really strong boards with just some incredible interruption. There really isn't a better feeling than reviving Rafal from grave and drawing a card with them, like finding a hand trap, and then popping a card with Donpa because that Rafal summon triggered it, and then drawing 3 cards with full go afterwards. I mean, that play alone is so unbelievably swingy and game winning that alone makes the deck a winner for me. The Sprites themselves also fit in very nicely with the deck and are very welcome as extra extenders and interruption. I'd probably classify this deck somewhere close to a control deck, as we aren't the best at closing out games, but we do excel at controlling the game via interruption, as well as out-resourcing our opponent via our searches and card draw. For our strengths, we're great at generating advantage, we're great at putting up interruption, and we're generally fairly consistent. Most hands will be something playable. The deck also gets to play a good chunk of hand traps and then other non-engine cards that are somewhat customizable to your taste, which is always nice. For weaknesses for the deck, tier exists. I had a couple games where I took a game or 2 on tier, but it was generally because either I got to like super set up on them and or they were just completely bricked up. This deck itself isn't really equipped to take on tier, and it can't really afford to run the silver bullets like Shifter that really deal with tier. For other weaknesses, I did say before the deck is pretty consistent, but this deck definitely bricks more than a standard Spright list. We don't really have like any one card starter like a Nimble Beaver, so generally we need to open like at least 2 or more cards that work together, and although there are like a number of combinations where that is the case, there are also a number of combinations where that doesn't work. For example, we're on a bunch of monsters that aren't level 2, so if we open something like Beat and a Spright Blue, if we don't have some other level 2 monster to work with, we're not really going anywhere. We are also pretty combo reliant, so we have the ability to play through some interruption if we open right. When we don't open right, or we're trying to play through an established board, well-timed interruption can stop us in our tracks, and that's not even to mention the bug in the room. But that is just part of the game, and you can't win them all. This deck is definitely a good deck, but I would still say that Melfi Spright is probably the better version of Spright, as they can afford to run cards like D-Shifter, and the deck is just generally more consistent. But that doesn't mean you might not want to play this deck, as you do gain access to some really unique pieces. In terms of fun, I was hopeful when I picked this deck up that I would like it, and I do love it. Awesome combo lines, awesome boards, awesome interruptions, and just a great ability to generate resources and keep gas in the tank to either keep going or recover. Incredibly fun and creative deck. If you like Spright, this is a fun addition to your Spright collection. If you like combo, you'll probably also like this deck. In terms of price, not the cheapest deck out there by far. But as this is like the 10th video I've done in Spright, I will say you definitely get your money's worth out of just picking up the Spright stuff. The furhire stuff is somewhat pricey, as you need the 3 URs. And then you also, unfortunately, probably want to pick up the 3 copies of Fossil Dig. You could definitely play the deck without Fossil Digs and replace them with something like, I don't know, like Nimble Beaver, but then you're generally just going to be doing more Spright plays rather than like the furhire plays that the deck's kind of designed for. So unfortunately, not the cheapest deck out there, but I see this as a deck I'll be rolling up to ladder with a lot. If this deck interests you, I don't think you'll be disappointed with picking it up. Definitely can compete, definitely has some fun plays, really cool deck. But I think that's my final thought for my final thoughts, though. If you have any other thoughts or questions, feel free to post them below. If you enjoyed the video or found any portion of it helpful, I greatly appreciate any likes or feedback. If you'd like to see more deck profiles and combo guides, be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe to the channel. But other than that, I will see you next time, friends.